rumor
Raggedy
around,
Ann doll.
Yeah, of creepy
Raggedy Ann
doll, and took the internet by storm that it went missing and ended up right here in Chicago.
Ooh. Oh, I didn't hear that part.
Yes.
I thought she was going on a tour.
Exactly. If you felt a disturbance in the force, it could be Annabelle. We're also going to be checking in with our new friend of the show, Matt Laracy. He did such a good job painting a picture of the real estate landscape for us a couple weeks back. We're going to check back in with him as the the housing market gets into high gear as we kick off the summer. We have some local spelling heroes that are about to represent Chicagoland.
Are we going to have our own spelling bee too?
I don't know. That'd be
between
interesting.
the two of us.
How was your spelling as a kid?
I mean, I didn't get a trophy, that's for sure. What about you?
I mean, I was solid, but by no means a savant or anything like that. I mean, I got most stuff right. But.
Yeah, okay. And we're also going to be talking about major icks because I had one. And it's going to make me sound kind of like a mean person, I feel like. At the end of the show, you got to stay tuned. So I had an ick that happened over the weekend. Things that make your skin crawl, whether they happen or they don't happen. I have a list of probably 7 or 8.
I can't wait for that.
I
think I can only think of 2 offhand, but Caitlin, your list is very intriguing. But let's start off by running folks through what happened with Annabelle.
Okay.
Run us through the cliff notes here, Caitlin.
Okay.
What's going on with Annabelle?
So a TikTok video from a paranormal investigator with the New England Society for Psychic Research confirmed that she's safely locked in her case at the Warrens Occult Museum in Connecticut. But the confusion started after people noticed Annabelle was missing from an exhibit stop during the Devils on the Run tour. So it looks like she was on tour. Do we have a visual
on Annabelle?
So Annabelle the doll is missing. This is the real Raggedy Ann doll that was inspired by the scary films Annabelle. And the Warrens warned us about this. They literally said it was going to happen. There's a quote from Lorraine that literally says that they should never try to move her because she's so evil she would find a way to escape. And well, what happens? They decide to take her on tour and Annabelle was like, yup, bye-bye. Bye-bye. There has been stories of people that have not listened to this sign. It says positively do not touch and have literally like that day gone home and gotten in a car accident. Or other people like took a photo of her and then they also were found. So she's no joke at all, like at all. The Warrens even blame her for some sickness that happened to them as well. So how y'all lose this doll?
Okay, so they took this doll on a tour. So it's called the Devils on the Run tour. It's a traveling paranormal exhibit that features the infamous Annabelle doll and other haunted artifacts with stops at historically spooky locations. They should do this during Halloween.
Have you ever had I mean, it begs the question, Caitlin, have you ever had a paranormal experience?
You know, when I was growing up, supposedly, my family members had in our house because my mom's grandparents both died in that house. They built the house, they lived there, they died in it.
Both of your mom's parents?
Grandparents.
Oh, both of her grandparents.
Grandparents. Okay. Yeah. But also her dad died young. Not
well,
in
like
that
did
house,
something
like,
that's
yeah,
not
so
paranormal
I think seeing them, sights of the said grandparents in the house. My dad even. He said, yeah, one day he was sitting and watching TV and he saw out of the corner of his eye something. He looked and saw like, I think it was her grandpa walked from like the kitchen into the room and sat down in a chair. My brother had weird ones too with them. I know, not for me. But outside of that, no. I talked about the story the other day about the music playing at 2 a.m. and I thought that was paranormal, but it turns out I think it was just my dog.
Yeah.
What about you?
I've had a couple minor, well, one of them didn't seem so minor at the time. We were down in Mexico in an old Spanish colonial town, staying in a house. It was like an Airbnb. The house was built in the 1700s. And
juicy.
We were, in the first night we got there, was my whole family and all of our significant others at the time. We were sitting in the dining room and we all heard what sounded like a really heavy wooden chair being dragged across a porcelain floor. So everyone in the dinner just like stopped. And then what kind of scared me the most is like my dad speaks fluent Spanish. My dad looks around and he basically said in Spanish to the room, "We are not here to harm you. we are just here on vacation, like, you know, and when he started speaking Spanish or whatever made the noise.
Yeah.
So that was one thing. And then later in the week at that same house, this is the last night, we were all drinking margaritas, having like chips and guac. The last night
Delicious,
It
yes.
was awesome. You know, everyone, but my sister wasn't in the room, and she was in the TV room of this house, which used to be the chapel of the house.
The chapel of the house.
Yeah,
They
there
had
was a
little,
chapel.
Yes,
yeah,
sure.
little chapel.
Uh-huh.
This is, I'm telling you, this is an old 1700s like courtyard. It was a cool, really awesome old house. We're enjoying our margaritas and guacamole. She comes running in from that TV room, just scared. She's like, oh my gosh, the lights just flickered on and off and the TV went off. And so she shows up, and we were all, okay, all right, I get whatever you say, Maria.
Yeah.
Next morning, the cleaning crew shows up
Okay.
to basically close up the house because we were leaving back to Chicago. We told the two housekeepers what had happened in the chapel the night before to my sister, and the two housekeepers who had been looking after the house for years go, oh yeah, that was a chapel back in the day. That stuff always happens in that room.
Okay.
So
Did you
those
write a
were my
review
two.
on the?
This was before, you know.
It wasn't an Airbnb.
Yeah, it must not. It was like a VRB. This was before it was like a.
Yeah, sure. It was
in
more
the
of a
process. Yeah, my
Yeah.
parents had booked the place. It was in a town called San Miguel de Allende. It's a really old town in Mexico, really cool place. But those are my two. So
Yeah,
I'm
I
not
don't
putting
like
it
that
past
stuff.
Annabelle.
So Annabelle, I wish I knew the history of Annabelle. I remember looking it up one time. I forget how I ran across the story because she looks so innocent, you know, this little doll. But then you hear about how, well, you saw in that clip, things have happened to people who have touched, which maybe people become, you know, a little bit paranoid afterwards, or they get nervous,
Oh,
and
sure.
then something happens.
And then your eyes are out, and then something, yeah.
So she went missing, and then they found her again. So that was the first thing, right? She's back in her Warren's museum spot, Jenna. So
She's
she's
going
back.
on tour, though. And if you want to go, I'm going to go say pay your respects
Ooh.
to Annabelle. She will be at the Rock Island, Illinois Museum event on October 4th.
That's okay, so it's closer to Halloween. Like that
Closer to
fall
Halloween.
vibes, you know? Not for me. Anyways,